Oh, right. Oh, okay, as you guys can see, unfortunately, Mr. Micro Jackson professed that he cannot focus with his camera. He's so sorry. He must focus. He wants to win this tournament so badly. So, guys, welcome to the first match of Group number C. Group 3, Group C. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Group C. Up here in the top right-hand side, representing Shopify Rebellion, it is BYUN'. And he's going to be playing a Terran versus Protoss in this first match. In the bottom left, it is Showtime. I believe it's still representing Big Esports. BIG, of course, Berlin International Gaming Club, someone said it actually stands for the other day. But he is going to be coming in as a little bit of a favorite in terms of overall Aligulac rating. But in terms of historically, PvT versus top Koreans, he has had some moments where he does very, very well. But overall, it's been a matchup that does give him some issues. Lots of practice versus Clem, though. Lots of practice versus Hero Marine recently. And I gotta say, that gives me hope for Showtime here going up against BYUN'. On the other hand, BYUN' has been annihilating Zest recently, and also taking out a bunch of the very defensive Protoss players that play a more Showtime-esque style like Creator in Korea. So I think BYUN' is really on a hot streak recently. That being said, who knows what's it going to look like? I mean, Showtime's so defensive usually, but he's also capable in this matchup of going Phoenix, controlling the early stage. If he shuts down a Widowmine drop or a Raven harass, he will explode into Zealot Archon and dominate the map. So I'm very curious to see how the players approach this series. It's a double gas opening with the fake barracks outside. Showtime has not seen that just yet, but he will see this factory going up. Back at home, he's already gone for the Cybercore into the Nexus pylon and then the second gas as well. And it looks like that Reaper will just rally back in to deal with the probe. This is a pretty conservative version of the build here for BYUN'. He's actually going to float back and build a reactor. That's interesting. So no 2 Reaper Hellion pressure. No crazy 3 Reaper 2 Hellion pressure or anything like that. I would imagine we're just going to see 1 Hellion out of the factory and then it swap over. He's going to build a command center on location as well. If Showtime sent an Adept across the map, there's nothing to deal with that. But Showtime playing very defensive right now, worried about the threat of the 2 Reaper Hellion. And it is indeed just going to be 1 Widowmine to kick things off. These sort of kind of different dynamic 1 basey openings have gotten a lot more interesting recently. Because the Terrans have a lot of 3 racks all-ins they can do off it. They can just do the normal, get stim, get tech labs, get shields, go up into a much more normal style. The one thing that you got to watch out for with BYUN' is what we call his TVP set piece. He loves getting a Raven across the map, using it to drop auto turrets, and on a map like this he can sit in the back and pick which base to attack. Showtime, of course, doesn't want to let that happen. Ooh, if he gets the Reaper, that would be great. Is there a ledge that he can jump up to? I think he's going to lose that, guys. Oh, nice attempt on the grenade, but he loses the Reaper. That's kind of costly. 2 Widowmines moving out on the map. BYUN' doesn't really have any aggression coming out just yet. It's going to be this first medevac where that unlocks, but it's not a super crisp medevac timing. And as I said, Showtime is one of the Phoenix gods in this matchup. He loves people Widowmine dropping into him because he's got the Phoenix to catch it, to pick up the Widowmines before they can burrow, and just rush them down, to overwhelm them. So I look at this situation now and I say this is a good setup for Showtime. You've cleaned up the Reaper. If you can get on top of this first Widowmine drop, you're in a fantastic position. I guess I didn't finish describing what that set piece was, did I? So Raven gets in the back, right? Drops an auto turret, often in the natural. 8 Marine drop in the main, and that's often as his push moves across the map towards the 3rd base at the same time. So he doesn't always do it exactly that way. BYUN' is very flexible, but he almost always opens Raven, and he almost always sends it directly across the map. And despite going Raven every game, he's actually kind of weak to Dark Templar because of that. You can open late DTs against BYUN', walk them in at the 5-minute mark, and there's a pretty high percentage chance his Raven's down here on the Protoss' side of the map. Ooh, Widowmine drop comes in towards that main base. The Phoenix are there, though, and there's enough Phoenix to lift up every Widowmine. And that should be shut down. Oh, he waits a while. Waits a little bit long. And that Widowmine does kill 1 probe, but he loses every single Widowmine and the medevac. I mean, this is fantastic for Showtime. As I said, this is such a good matchup of styles because Showtime goes for the Phoenix. You go for the Widowmine drop. That's not good against it. You follow up with a Raven. So for those who don't know, every Phoenix shot does 20 damage to a Raven. 7 Phoenix shots. Phoenix shoot very fast. These Phoenix could fly right over the Marines. That Raven will disappear. Showtime going to go hunting. Maybe doesn't know about the Raven, but at least going to look for some SCVs. The Marines are well positioned so far. Gets 1 SCV, does take a bit of a bruising. And overall units lost tab, 2 probes for 3 Widowmines, an SCV, a Medevac, and a Reaper. A near perfect game so far for Showtime. His third base almost finished. Forge and Twilight are on the way. And 3 more gateways going up in the main. For those, of course, who weren't here for the opening of the match, Showtime did win the coin toss, coming in as the highest seed. He picked Tails, got that, and as a result, we are on the Central US server. Next game will be on US West, and we'll finish the series, if we get to Game 3, on Central US again. It's a small ping disparity between the 2 servers for both players, but it can make an impact when you're playing at such a high level. 4 more SCV kills going down. The second and third barracks there. The Raven, unable to do anything, and BYUN much more in his element when he's on the side of the map of the Protoss. He's going to swap now after 2 tanks into the reactor, which means no more tanks, Widowmines from here. And he's going to focus on that kind of bio-mine style. How will it fare against, as I said, Zealot Archon, a style Showtime's been known for over the last year or so, and it looks like he's bringing it out again. Going up to 8 gateways and just go in charge. He's got the Templar Archives. Does have 4 gases. He could go Storm technically, but I think with extra Phoenix production, armor on the way for the Zealots, to me this just feels like a, hey, let's wait for the Terran push to come. Let's jump on it with Zealots, Archons, Phoenix, of course, stopping the Terran from picking up and evacuating. And that'll work out really well. Where is that Raven, guys? Am I blind? There it is. Hiding above the engineering bay there. The Raven is, of course, got a missile turret and a lot of units covering for it. And the Phoenix are out there. He's like, where are you right now? Showtime's wondering, when is this push coming? Are you sneaking a drop out? Are you sneaking any Ravens out along the edge? BYUN is known to go for very wild and dangerous drops. And the thing is, right now, there is one opening here. Showtime plugs the gap. He will see this move out. Okay, Showtime sees it. All of his Phoenix pull back. 11 Zealots, an Archon, an Immortal about to join. 2 Sentries with a lot of energy as well. And honestly, I'd love to see Showtime flank this army. I think he actually just has a good enough force. With the Phoenix, they're going to obliterate the Raven. I think jump on the Raven, sandwich it from 2 sides, and Zealot Archon should slay. He's going to attack it from the front. Will he be able to go for it? Watch out for the Raven. Anti-armor missile goes down. Hits some of the Terran units as well, though. Tanks getting picked up. The Raven has not gone down yet. And the Phoenix, they kind of pulled back a little bit. Showtime trying to disengage. He does take out the Raven, a Medevac, and a Siege tank, as well as some of the Bio. And as the stim wears out, it looks like Showtime happy. What did he lose? A Phoenix? A bunch of Zealots? Got rid of a lot of the powerful tech units of BYUN. He's happy with that trade for now. Those Phoenix going to go around and look for some more harassment, maybe pick off some reinforcements. Does see a Marine there. Not too many Marines, actually. Only 4 of them there. Maybe he could have taken the trade, but he backs out of it. Double gas goes down on the 3rd. No Robo Bay. No. Okay, no Robo Bay, no Storm. Showtime's playing 3-base meat mode army. He says, nah, let's just have enough army. I know he's going to push into me. His 3rd command center is way later than mine. I've got a good economic advantage. I don't need to go to splash damage just yet. But this fight becomes very important. Those Widowmines could destroy the Zealots and the Phoenix. BYUN's going to bait him in. Gotta watch out there. Big Widowmine to start things off. And an Archon goes down. A little bit of a sloppy fight. But wait, no, he picks up the Widowmines. The Phoenix picking up 3 of the Widowmines. 2 more burrowing, though. And big booms on the Zealots. I think BYUN does lose a lot of stuff there. He's way down in supply. It felt like a pretty good trade for BYUN, all things considered, but you got to factor in the fact that that 3rd command center is only now floating down, and that income disadvantage is a big problem for him. Showtime still focusing here on just having lots of fighting units. He's going to add Blink because he realizes, okay, I'm not replacing these Phoenix. They're not going to scale that well into the next stage of the game, and works towards the 4th Nexus. Showtime is a creature that does not get, he doesn't get a lot of practice against the Terrans in Korea, don't get me wrong. But let's be real, how often does BYUN play someone who plays like Showtime? It's not all that often. Sometimes they do get a chance to run into each other, but it's not as much as you see him playing against the likes of Zest and these other guys. They run into each other occasionally in these international and online leagues, but definitely a style he doesn't have the thousands and thousands of games of practice he has against those Korean Protoss styles. Second Robo Bay on the way, +2 attack is on the way for Showtime as well. He's got a cannon and a battery on the 4th base, and he's got some nice observer coverage. BYUN, though, takes the gases on the 3rd, and he's got the 2nd Engineering Bay Armory transition. He's happy to go to the later stages. He's not going to let his upgrades be the shortfall. Scans takes it out. With the Disruptors on the way first. That's interesting. No Colossus. It feels like Showtime here doesn't want to have the weakness to the Vikings. Just wants to go straight to the big booms. Fantastic at clearing out Widowmines, of course, as well. BYUN, if he can get a 4th command center up, he'll actually have pretty decent scaling to the next stage. But No second starport, no extra factory or anything wild like that just yet either. And here we go. That fourth base sticking out, looking a little exposed. BYUN has not been able to find an opening just yet. And the upgrades, of course, completely even. 1-1 versus 1-1. Fourth base now at 12 workers. SHOWTIME, of course, is only equal on workers for a little bit there. He kind of needs to saturate that base. And oh, look at that. He realized he got spotted and he pulls back with it. Oh. He does lose that disruptor. And he throws another one out. Doesn't really find the mark with it. SHOWTIME was looking for a really sneaky flanking disruptor, but the Widow Mine saw him. This Widow Mine down here for BYUN, very effective. I like these spotting Widow Mines. You know, it's one of those things where Zealots just beat the crap out of individual Marines or Marauders unless you're microing a lot as the Terran. So leaving Zealot spotters out often is very dominant for map vision, but if you put Widow Mines out, it's very hard for the Protoss to deal with. The Bio's going to try and take the fight. It's a dangerous one. That's a big Protoss army, and there's some big balls coming in from behind it. BYUN looking for the chip-offs. BYUN does like to hang on the edge of the danger zone, right in the Protoss' territory. Oh, big disruptors go out. SHOWTIME landing massive shots on BYUN. Oh, BYUN has been suffering some nasty disruptor shots in recent matches. You know, there was a huge one just the other day. We were casting him up against Zest, and Zest distracted him with a Zealot run by. And right when BYUN went to deal with it, 2 disruptors took out his entire army and literally won the game with 2 disruptor shots. It was one of the most brutal pro-disruptor shot game-winning moves I've seen in a while. So BYUN, I think, has got to be having a little bit of trauma in his head around this unit. Good denial on the 5th base. He's still roaming on SHOWTIME's side of the map. But the question has to be asked. Does he have any business being here right now? Shouldn't he be hiding, cowering? His army's so much weaker than SHOWTIME's right now. EMP does come in, but ooh, disruptor shots are still very big. Those EMPs really weakening this force. I like the way BYUN's just picking off expensive units, but he does lose a ghost there as well. He's trying to find these observers. He's got these Widow Mines peppered all over the map. Warp Prism on the right side has come in. Does BYUN realize it's there? He's got 3 more barracks on the way. His 4th command center's up. SHOWTIME in a bit of a turtley position right now as he warps in a couple of Dark Templar. And they're actually in the Prism. He's going to go for a DT drop in the main. If he takes that turret out, that could be big, but there's not too much else going on. Okay, Zealot's coming in at the same time. I do like that move. Just bringing in a little bit more of a problem for his opponent. The Zealot's down at the 3rd, force a live to siege. The Bio comes back. They get cleaned up, but already 10 SCVs have gone down. And those DTs, not going to be easy to clean up in the main base. The Prism has already escaped to the dead space out the left. He's got to be careful. The turret will damage him on the way out. But so far, so good here for BYUN. For SHOWTIME, sorry. Getting the damage, and BYUN just kind of saying, okay, I'll clean this all up. I'll get my plus 3/3 armor and attack upgrades on the way eventually when I get the money for it. So we're going to come down to some big battles, though. And already SkyToss transition on the way. SHOWTIME reticent to push across the map. And I do think that might be a mistake. Because I look at this squad of Bio controlling the map. And I say this has no business being out here. It's a small squad of units. They're mobile. They've got a great player microing them. But SHOWTIME is letting him dictate the pace of the game with a much smaller army. And that could be a crucial mistake if he ends up losing this. It feels like SHOWTIME got a lead, and what's he done with it? He's taken a 5th base, he's adding upgrades, he's adding Blink DT. If he's the better endgame and late game player with carriers and Blink DTs and so on, this is absolutely the right choice. But we don't know that yet. We're watching this as the audience and going, yeah, are you just better than him in late game? If you are, sure, go to this stage, you know, ensure the victory. But otherwise, why not get out there, push him off the map, clear those Widow Mines, get a bit more of a bully factor going on, you know, try to jump around and take control. He's got so many disruptors, though. I think he feels very immobile because of that. Disruptors, of course, need a lot of micro. They're not very fast. And the Marauders just constantly there. Like I said, BYUN likes to dance on the edge of the danger zone. He doesn't have a lot of chill or a lot of respect for the Protoss. Does get a disruptor. Meanwhile, uh-oh, that's a lot of Blink DTs. Oh, Widow Mines is so good at defending them, though. Oh, I love seeing this defense from BYUN. 2 Widow Mines and a Liberator. I've talked for a long time about how that is what you use to shut down Dark Templar run-bys, because the Widow Mine splash is so huge. Dark Templar are very weak. That disruptor shot was big. And SHOWTIME, he's into +1 attack. Carriers. He's already got 1 out. 2 Stargate's going to build them. If you can get about 6 carriers out, it complicates things for the Terran, because those interceptors, of course, very cheap, and they do tank a fair bit, especially considering They themselves don't cost any supply on top of the carrier, so just having those interceptors in there will make things a little bit more convoluted. Zealot Stalker on the base. The Stalkers want to escape. The Zealot's a bit more of a throwaway unit, but a lot of those Stalkers go down, as do the Zealots. BYUN'S going to need to get to a 5th base, and this is where this map gets interesting. We haven't seen a lot of late game on Glittering Ashes. Do you take the 5th here? Do you just expand along the edges? I mean, as you get out to these corners, those bases stick way out. Those are super exposed, and it's very hard to defend them. And this is the map, you know, the sort of map where it's like, hey, a good offense is the best sort of defense, honestly. Oh, good disruptor shot on the retreat. BYUN does take some extra losses. Showtime's maxed. Oh, and he just warped in Zealots, and he can't recall because of the EMP. BYUN says no recall, no shield battery energy for you, mate. Not on that one anyway. Beautiful play here from BYUN. He gets the 4th base, gets some big damage. DTs go in. They will be able to deny that, but I mean, forcing a base to lift nowhere near as effective as what BYUN's doing on the other side of the map. BYUN is keeping Showtime contained. The carriers are being forced to show themselves. So this is not a big secretive carrier attack. This is, I've got to use these units kind of desperately just to hang on. Oh, BYUN! He lifts his command center. 53 hit points, 48 hit points, 40 hit points. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that is burning. I think it's going to go down. It's going to go down! Oh my god, okay, that command center does burn down there. The Dark Templar making it hard to repair. BYUN is still trying to push both sides of the map at once with Bio Ghost. The carriers are running away. There's not that many units. I guess Ghost kill interceptors pretty well, but does he need to run away? Ooh! Oh, look at this. He's going to try and jump on this army of BYUN. Does land some disruptors in the top left. That army down there in the natural is coming in towards Showtime's 5th base. Interesting. The way BYUN just sits on the edge of the disruptor range and stands there and dodges. He's so confident in his dodges. Is it going to be enough? DT coming in, Stalkers coming in. The carrier's falling behind now. I think Showtime needs to pull back the ground units, let the carriers do their work. Stalkers coming in. His army could get surrounded up here. Showtime's got to be careful. His prism does go down. He's going to have to throw out some zoning disruptors. Gets a ghost there. Uh-oh. Oh, shizzle fizz. Look at that. Spready on the Marauders. Beautiful play by BYUN, but he does cop a few big balls to the face. He will take out that entire army, I believe, though. The Stalker's trying to buy time. The other army's coming forward for Showtime, though, up the center. If these disruptors survive, that is going to be huge. Stalkers blink over there. The Marauders, can they get them? They get one more. No. 2 disruptors do survive on the left. He's rebuilding some of those disruptors now is Showtime. Stalkers starting to pick off Vikings. He realizes he has an advantage. He wants to push it, but he also doesn't want to headbutt into a bad position. That being said, with the carriers there, with some disruptors backing it up, yeah, it's mostly Zealot Stalker, but the carriers and the disruptors make this a very scary push. This is not a planetary fortress. BYUN wanted to be able to lift this against DTs, but if you... that's the price. If you don't have a planetary, it has way less armor, and it does not have its own splash damage attack. The carriers do take a bit of damage. The disruptors should cover their retreat. Viking's going to grab a carrier on the way out. Stalker's trying to deny that, but it's actually a nice chase for BYUN. Stalkers are such an average unit in a pitched battle. Showtime doesn't want to fight right now. 3-3 for Terran, 3-2-1 for Protoss. With the +3 armor upgrade about to finish, it looks like another carrier went down there. BYUN getting some good pickups on the way out, and overall, BYUN has been more efficient. He takes, is that a float? It looks like he's floating his natural over to the left. He's built a command center here, but it's very weak. He's got an orbital over there. This base has not been retaken. Showtime seems to have a healthier economy as he takes the half base on the left. 6 minerals, 1 gas, so 25% less minerals, half the gas. Not the best base. +2 air weapons is getting close to finish. That's a very important upgrade. Right now, the carriers just aren't that effective because they're lagging in the upgrades. But when you get only 1 attack upgrade behind the armor of the Marines, they're definitely more effective. You get another one on top of that, they'll be fantastic. EMP, Stim, and he's going to take out as many Stalkers as he can on the way out. But look at that, a dangerous dive. BYUN comes forward on the left side of the map. And these disruptors, oh good god, the robos were exposed, but BYUN doesn't want to take the risk. He knows the army's coming back. He doesn't want to lose these units. He wants to get some damage and get out. So he's going to kill the Nexus, run to the right side. At the same time, DT backstab coming in, turret plus Liberator. A very good response there. Just kind of set up defense to deal with it. Zealots run in a bit ahead of the army. Showtime's got to be careful. He's getting sloppy right now. He's going in piecemeal. The DTs and the Zealots get cleansed. And look at that. The disruptor shot unable to connect. This is not that big an army for BYUN, but it's already killed so much of Showtime's force. Showtime getting impatient, and this is the power of BYUN. The way he constantly kites back and sits on the edge of the disruptor range without ever getting hit by those big balls. I say ever. Okay, without getting hit too much considering how many are fired at him. Remember that he's killed 11 disruptors this game. Yeah, he's taken a few big hits, but fights like that one where he just eventually he kites the zealots, he kites the DTs, and he says, oh, it's just stalkers and carriers? Yeah, I'll fight that. No worries. Marine Marauder Ghost is pretty darn good. And remember that EMP knocks somewhere between 30% to 50% of the life off every single Protoss units. As long as you can follow it up, it's huge! Speak of following it up! Oh my god, Showtime caught! He didn't see BYUN'S army coming through the middle, and he's just caught completely out of position. EMP, Stim, Viking volleys. Showtime's army crumbles into dust. And what a turnaround. There's a DT run by ripping up BYUN'S economy. It really felt like economically, BYUN was falling behind. He was losing ground, but the fights were just a bit too good. Showtime, losing track of his army there. I mean, I think he knew where his army was, but losing track of BYUN'S army. BYUN'S army barely missed that observer in the middle, got around him. The DT run by does go down. Showtime loses another base in the top left. He's trying to gather his forces, but look at that. Vikings! Vikings from BYUN! He anticipates the Colossi. He sees him coming with the Widow Mine, and that Viking positioning. The Colossus get raked down by the Viking on the high ground. And BYUN gonna take an epic 22-minute game one. Woo! What a good way for it to start. Curious to do a quick rewind here, guys. I just want to see how that army caught him off guard. Did his observer not see it? It did not. You look here. He does not see this army. And then he moves up to the top left. He sees this scan. He says, oh, you might be pushing up that top left side. So he starts moving left. And he has no idea. And he gets scanned. And BYUN just gets such a good cleanup. Not a great army. But if you reinforce this with a few more Colossus, more units, could have been totally different. Nonetheless, a beautiful game one victory for BYUN. All right, we're going into 2,000 atmospheres now, and he did already win his map pick. Actually, he won Showtime's map pick. This is Shopify Rebellion's BYUN. So this is actually his map pick now, winning your opponent's map pick on their server. Very good. BYUN now going onto US West on his map pick. He's got to feel good about that. Bit of a turnaround as well. Showtime, a defensive powerhouse. They call him Demour, literally the wall. This is Showtime. Representing big esports, and honestly, I think Showtime did miss an opportunity to capitalize. Remember, he got way ahead, but he built 9 disruptors and went carriers before thinking about Colossus or Storm or really getting super active with the DTs. So for me, I look at that last game and I go, that's all cool and stuff, and I'm sure it looks better than that, but I do think when you have defended your opponent's attacks, you've blocked them, what does Zest do better than anyone else? Because he often actually plays the early game like Showtime did there. Just super defensive, defend, block. But the moment he kills a bunch of stuff, gets a few good hits, he'll go and attack. He'll go take advantage of it. I felt like BYUN there was down in army for quite a while, significantly behind in tech, and there was no move across the map to take advantage of it. And I get that it's hard because it's Glittering Ashes. It's such a big map. It's like BYUN can kind of, he's got the more mobile force. He could disengage and rotate and move around and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see how different players approach the scenarios. Is the defensive powerhouse too defensive? Well, maybe. I mean, it's kind of a funny thing in StarCraft. Often your best strength is kind of also a weakness. If you know, you're like, oh, but then, you're so good at defending. Sometimes you miss aggressive opportunities and vice versa. BYUN going back to his 3 racks build here, guys. Marine into reactor. We know it's 3 racks because he's pulled 2 workers off gas. He's been loving 3 racks lately. And Showtime just doing a pretty normal build over here. Nothing too wild. Actually, I think this might have been Nexus before Cybercore. I believe without adept timing it is. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, really quick Twilight. So this is a better opening in terms of greed for Showtime. Not as good versus a Reaper opening, but I think he scouted and I think he felt safe. He was just like, yeah, no proxy barracks. We can just chill. Leisurely adept timing. And a few different openings off the Twilight. Quick DT is an option, not something Showtime's going to do when he's down a game. Showtime rarely cheeses, and it's almost never when he's down a game. He likes to actually play to his strengths, which is late game. It's his macro. He's an absolute monster in those scenarios. And, ooh, he's got to watch out. Run, Showtime. He won't lose it. It does take a lot of damage, but that's okay. And wait, it's only 2 barracks. Oh, this is a... Wait, 2 barracks eBay, then 3rd barracks? I'm sorry, what? How fast do you want to get your +1 attack? He's going to have like 10 Marines when +1 attack kicks in. This is super interesting opening for BYUN'. I've seen him do some cool 2 barracks into factory, but such a quick engineering bay and a turret. Oh, he thinks he's getting proxy stargated. What? BYUN' thinks he's getting proxied for some reason. He's building a turret in his main at 3 minutes 30. What? Is this just part of the build? There's a pretty early bunker as well. Whoa, I'm gonna throw this one out to Twitch chat. If anyone understands this build or why there's a missile turret there, I'd love the explanations, and tweet at me as well and let me know. I like to understand StarCraft, and I've never seen this variation of the 3X before. So curious to see exactly where it goes. I think it's great for Showtime though, because he's got a quick third. He's doing a 2-gate, so it's Blink, 2-gate Robo into the 3rd Nexus really quickly. This is an incredibly safe build. This is a turret that Twitch chat is telling us is incredibly popular in Silver League. Yeah, I've seen it. The 3-minute missile turret in your main. it's not too popular when you're looking at one of the best Terrans of all time and a past world champion, right? Factory is down at a very good timing. That's a very early factory. So overall, it's a very defensive 3X. I don't mind it. He's just taking some safety precautions with the bunker, with the turret. With such a fast eBay, I'd love to see +1 armor kick in real early as well. But he's got to use that gas for combat shields apparently, so fair enough. And also needs 100 gas for that starport. That factory was so early, so he doesn't quite have it ready. Showtime, very defensive right now as well. He's just kind of... Oh, Forge Templar Archives. Hello. Hello, Storm Drop style. Showtime's going to show us some storms today. I don't think he goes Blink into Charge Archon. There's no reason for Templar Archives to be down this early, guys. So it feels to me like Showtime is thinking about getting Psystorm if he can. Problem for Showtime. Look at his vision, guys. For on Showtime's vision, he doesn't know what's in there. He can maybe guess it's a 3-Rex, and indeed he will see that now. Have to warp in a bunch more Stalkers. Already good micro by both players. BYUN' trying to frustrate the Stalker focus fire, and the Stalker's also trying to not take too many hits. More Stalkers are here, though. You can't push into that as BYUN'. Showtime's like, please move down here. And nice blink back. +1 attack is on the way there for Showtime. And Storm already starting up. 4 gas Storm into a 5th gas immediately. I think this is pretty perfect against what Showtime's BYUN'S doing, honestly. Oh, not good movement with the Stalkers though. He loses 2 Stalkers there, which is a bit of a bummer. The Observer though sees that BYUN' is so defensive, and immediately Showtime's like, okay, let's take up station. Take up station once more. Gets a Marine, blinks back. I think maybe a little cautious. Probably could have got another one there. BYUN' does take a 3rd command center on location. That +1 armor, very quick. If he drops an armory, he can go straight into +2 attack. So the advantage with the 3-Racks of getting the early eBay like this is if you want to, you can with 1 engineering bay get 2-2 faster than you normally would off most builds with 2 engineering bays. You're just starting them so much faster. 4th and 5th barracks are on the way in the natural for BYUN'. Going to be up front. Nice quick rally point towards the front. Adept comes forward and goes on the watchtower. Showtime will cancel it. He doesn't have Storm, and yes, he does. He's got 2 Psystorms available. I'd love him to actually start with a Psystorm. BYUN' doesn't know about it, and now he does? Oh, my lord! Oh, my lord! Oh, God! Oh, my lord! I mean, BYUN', honestly, after that, he's gonna be like one of those dogs that hates getting a bath. The next time he sees a High Templar, he's just gonna run out of the room barking. That is a lot of damage for Showtime. Showtime's like, dude, I think maybe I can kill him. He doesn't even have a Warp Prism out just yet, so it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, well, you killed so much, why not? But you're also so far ahead economically. I mean, I would love to see Showtime push. Instead, he says, let's drop a 4th. And that's totally fine. I actually think that's the better case here. Even though he took a great trade, warp in more High Templar, gather more Storm energy, put them in a Warp Prism, wait a minute, and then you're going to have a great fight with tons of Psystorm. So that's going to be really awesome. And that's such a nasty way. I always talk about how, you know, people like Disruptors aren't good, Storms aren't good, Fungals aren't good. And we were just having a discussion earlier today about how the first Storm, the first Fungal, the first Disruptor, the first EMP, that's always the most dangerous one. When the opponent doesn't know it's coming, the first one always has the most potential. You only get one go at the first storm. And that's why it's such a bummer if they know you've gone High Templar or Disruptors early ahead of time. But if you get a first engage like that as Showtime, you're all smiles. Definitely needs, I think, a big round of Zealots to make this fight happen. And I think he should actually keep his Zealots in reserve. So for Showtime, I think he can win here, but he's got to keep the Zealots back. Get BYUN to engage on your Stalker Immortal, because that alone is such a scary army. Yeah, look at that. He pulls the Zealots and the Archons back. He says, come and fight my Immortal Stalker. And if BYUN takes the bait, he's getting stormed. Ooh. Oh, the turret! The turret! The turret! He just lost his Prism with 2 High Templar into the turret. A massive screw-up for Showtime. He got 2 High Templar out of it, but that was so unnecessary. He could have just right-clicked that turret. The MVP turret keeps BYUN alive. Honestly, BYUN was dead. If there's still another, there was at least one more Science Storm, I think 2 inside that Warp Prism, plus it was his forward warp in point for Showtime. Oh my god, he gets hit by an EMP! BYUN! The balls on this guy! He's like, you know what? I actually can get you. I can get you now. And Showtime, from so far ahead, finds himself locked back on even supply. He's got a 4th up, so it's not like he's behind, but he goes from victory within grasp to BYUN is okay with his situation again. He's going to start the second eBay Armory transition. He's going to go for the gases on the 3rd. He's starting a 4th command center in the main. He's getting ready for the macro game, but there's no storm. It's a feedback drop, the saddest kind of drop. Lots of Zealots though, lots of Zealots. Showtime's got the numbers. Look at that spready on the Zealots. Nice spready, but still another Widow Mine or 2 in there. Ooh, I think with battery overcharge, he should be okay. As Archon's shield batteries do defend. Units lost tab we see in the top left looking fantastic for BYUN in this game. Oof. Okay, so this is a point where I do love the situation that we're in terms of the double disruptors for Showtime. I think Showtime needs to play a bit more Cavalier, though, a bit more YOLO. And I know that sounds crazy because it's like, well, he tried to attack and he got bopped. I want to see more Zealot run-bys, honestly. I still think he's got enough of a lead on the tech. He could throw wild swinging Zealot waves at his opponent at BYUN and push with the disruptors at the same time. The moment he gets his 3rd and 4th disruptor out, how do you engage a pack of Stalker Archon and disruptors as BYUN? It's going to take a lot of micro, a lot of your army, a lot of your focus. If you're dealing with Zealots at the same time, it's not possible. But the one thing that Showtime showed in that game 1 is that he's often poking with Zealots or DTs in the main, but he's not pairing it up with a frontal push. If you pair both of those things, it drains the Terran's attention like no tomorrow. And if you can drain their attention, that's where big disruptors will be consistently landing. Let's see how it goes. Showtime still on the defense. He's got a 2nd Forge on the way. Try to catch up in those upgrades against the double engineering bay. Sees the extra command center in the main base. He knows that BYUN's going to play macro. That Prism will get hunted down. The Zealot's going to pick off a few SCVs. Goodbye, Warp Prism. At the same time, BYUN, watch out. Ooh, Showtime did not have eyes on his army. Showtime's a little low on observers right now. And, ooh, EMP on the Stalkers. Oh my lord, here he goes. Gets a lot of the Stalkers. The Disruptor's a little too far back, and now BYUN just runs away. I think BYUN just runs away. I don't think he can stand there. The Disruptor's a bit, yeah, gets out of range. How does he always get out of range? This is it. Honestly, BYUN is just a pin right now in front of the bowling ball that is Showtime. But this pin jumps around, it moves around, it ducks, it weaves, it points, and it laughs. Showtime is unable to get this splash to land consistently. And remember, that's after a giant first storm on the first push. Other than that, it's very hard for Showtime to land the hits that he needs on BYUN's army. And that's why we're going to see BYUN now thinking about dropping into that main base. Ooh, he doesn't see the observer, but is Showtime ready? Oh, Showtime! He's going to try and... Oh, he doesn't have recall! No! Showtime's macro is too good! He has no energy on the Nexus in the main! Ah, it's a rough one. He's going to warp in a DT or 2, try and use those to start defending. Now, BYUN doesn't want to go too deep. He doesn't want to be super risky, so he just kind of picks off some gateways, some pylons. I don't think he got any super important tech. Oh, big ball. Showtime, of course, is a Protoss with very big balls, but oh, at the same time down there, Disruptors get partially dodged in the main in the top right of our screen. Those medevacs pulled back to the dead space. These guys kiting down, forcing the Stalkers to disengage, and BYUN, it feels like, is all over the map and running circles around Showtime a little bit. 2-2's finished, so he's slightly ahead on upgrades right now. Showtime's trying to defend. He's going to try and move back down there. 76 probes still for Showtime. I don't know how he has such a big economy up. BYUN is establishing a 4th planetary fortress, though. So Showtime has survived, but momentum-wise, it definitely feels like BYUN just has zero fear. And, oh, DT is going to go down. Stalker's in trouble. That was not a big enough squad. And SHOWTIME just doesn't have any vision out of the map. We talked about his lacking observer vision. There's a reason why he's unprepared for these pushes. It's because after that early game, he felt he needed the disruptors to survive, but that meant he did not rebuild his observers. And without rebuilding those, BYUN is always able to come from surprising angles. So this is the big thing which SHOWTIME missed, was replace the observers, get him out in the middle of the map. Without that, BYUN's picking where the fights happen. SHOWTIME is always late to the party. And it feels like BYUN here showing some excellent TVP and also not all in at any point. It's always, and he's aggressive, he's in your face, he's going to the next step. You know, it's reminiscent of Cure, of Clem, of these other guys who are so godlike in this matchup right now. And I think it's very promising for BYUN fans to see him playing like this. He's, you know, this looks like a wildly aggressive move. He has a 4th command center fully up behind us. He's starting 3-3 while unloading in the base. This is not a BYUN who's live or die on every single push and drop. He's just looking for good trades, and he's finding them over and over again. SHOWTIME here, bleeding out units in his main. A Ghost in the mineral line, picking off probes there, and SHOWTIME unable to hold back the horde of Terran. BYUN, fantastic play.